the Bowels of Netflix, where your fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix! Alright, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I am Isaac, and with me as always is my fearless co-host Larry. How are you doing this week, Larry?
Man has always struggled against nature. And in that vein, Isaac, what is the scariest animal?
Boll weevil.
Interesting. Can you explain why?
Well, when they wear top hats, and you don't know why they're wearing top hats, they're very frightening.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, Isaac. If I were to show you a lineup of beetles holding tiny little cards turned to the left and right, could you even pick a boll weevil out of a lineup?
Isn't a boll weevil a little... Wait, what is a boll weevil? Is it a beetle?
I don't know.
I thought it was a little mouse.
A boll weevil's a mouse.
Some kind? Isn't it a mouse?
No, a weevil's a weevil.
What's a weevil?
It's a bug.
Oh.
Did you ever see Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World?
No.
This is one of my best friend and my favorite jokes. This is not a lie. At one point, it's about a boat captain in, ye olde times, and they're eating shitty, hard boat bread, and it's got weevils in it, and they're picking out the weevils, and he's like, there was some line about the lesser of two weevils, and my best friend and I have been laughing about that joke for, I want to say 15 years.
That seems a little long, but yeah.
It's a terrible joke, but we find it hilarious. It's just one of those things that defines a friendship, So, you thought a weevil was a mouse?
Yeah, I was picturing like a shrew.
You're dumb. Jesus Christ, you are stupid.
I am not an ichthyologist, or whatever a bug scientist is.
I think that's actually correct.
No, it's fish.
That's fish? It is fish.
And entomologist?
That actually sounds correct.
Endoscopy.
That is...
Endoscopy.
That's... is that up the butt? No, that's a colonoscopy. A colonoscopy.
Endoscopy is down the throat hole.
Oh, God, that's
like where your cum goes.
I'd rather take it up the ass. Okay, here's a question.
Sure you're unconscious for both.
Here's a question to start this show. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, this is good. We're both straight men. Great way to start this. You know what? No, actually, I'm going to save this for... Let's save that for a better day. Welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I'm Isaac. This is my partner, Isaac. This is the Isaac Show, featuring only Isaac and not the other guy. He was killed for his sins.
Listen to bonus episodes for our thoughts on heterosexuality and why it's superior and why we're glad we're white.
No, like I said, the Isaac Show featuring Isaac and a clone of Isaac with a different voice. Isaac.
We are the Bowels of Netflix. We're in your ear holes every week on Sundays. Two old friends who hate each other describing the worst movies they can find on Netflix in excruciating detail. Find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. They're both Bowels of Netflix. I actually just got TikTok. I'm thinking of making a TikTok page for us, for real.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I'll do, because it has to be video, and I have to, be 18 and attractive and have my titties shaking.
It's true.
But I can make it work.
I don't know how we translate this show to a visual medium. I thought about, God forbid we ever get popular. It's not like we could do this show live.
A lot of podcasts do.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll just put googly eyes on our dicks.
Of course.
Yeah, that's all we have to do. Success, here we come.
I can't believe I'm
Carnegie
going into business with you. I can't believe I'm so far into going into business with you. I almost think that's a good idea.
Hey, that could catapult us to stardom.
God, it probably could.
Yeah.
This country.
Also, send us an email, bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show, on any of these movies, any suggestions, all of that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to rate and subscribe. Tell your friends. Do all the fun stuff. We want to keep doing this.
Yep. We're a small-time gig. We really want to get bigger. If only for
more
our
people.
own egos, because God knows I fucking hate myself and being alive.
Yeah, I am tired of jerking off in front of the mirror and just crying, so... I don't know how this is going to help, but I feel like it will. So
you'll know that somewhere someone's thinking about you doing that.
Tell your grandma to listen to this show, because she'll like it.
Mm-hmm. She stands in front of the mirror, jerks off, and cries.
Yeah, who doesn't? It's a boomer thing, I guess. All right, Larry, what movie did you have this week?
Well, let me throw a couple names at you and see if it sounds familiar. Ice Cube, Owen Wilson, Jennifer Lopez, Danny Trejo, Bueller. Bueller? I got nothing.
Ben Stein?
It's Anaconda. No, Ben Stein.
Where does a Bueller come from?
I don't know. I tried to write a joke instead of think of one, and this is what happened.
You didn't name Jon Voight. Come on. He's arguably the biggest star.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Jon Voight later, because I actually have a couple things to say about Jon Voight, but I looked at his movies. I don't think I know who Jon Voight is.
Yeah, I don't really think I've seen a whole lot of his movies, but I know he's a name.
I mean, I recognize the name as a Hollywood star, but I mean, well, we'll talk about him later. We're going to get into that. Anaconda. You've probably, you may have heard of it, our little Bowsers out there. I don't know why I called you little. I hate when people call me little. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's from 1997. It's a cult classic nowadays. One of those horror movies that spawned a franchise that had all the rest of the movies in it were total garbage and never went anywhere. But this one is kind of stuck around somewhat in the consciousness of, cult shitty horror. Like I said, 1997. We've got quite a large and impressive cast of people. Like I said, Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Jon Voight, Eric Stoltz. I don't know who Carrie Warher is, but I mean, she's listed above some of these other people. She was on Sliders. Okay, that's a show that I know exists. Owen Wilson in one of his first roles.
Yeah, it's definitely early on in J-Lo's career too.
Yeah. Early on in Danny Trejo's career too, which we'll get to him. We just talked about him. He was one of the main characters in Delta Farce, a movie which sadly exists, and I had to review. So Rotten Tomatoes, Anaconda has a 38% on the tomato meter. So honestly, by Bells and Network standards, that's almost not bad.
Yeah, really. That's a decent amount of critics who were okay with it.
Yeah, 52 critics with 38%. That's not, for as far as Bells and Netflix is concerned, that's almost good. It has a 24% audience score. And now, obviously, everyone's going to listen to those episodes at different times. Could be years down the line if society hasn't ended. But there's like a video, like a trailer or something at the top of the Rotten Tomatoes page. And Isaac, I'd like you to pull it up, too, to see if I'm crazy.
Sure. Oh, you definitely are crazy. I don't think that's going to settle this right now.
This trailer or whatever appears to have what looks like a man in a state of melting.
Oh.
Do you see
Does
that?
anyone melt in the movie?
No, I have no fucking idea what this scene is. And for some reason, I tried to play it before we started recording, and for some reason it wasn't working, and I didn't look into it that much because, So is that what shows up for you?
Trailer of a man melting.
Just in Rotten Tomatoes, it's like right above where it says Anaconda.
I'm playing it now.
Oh, is it playing?
My internet's slow. Well, what?
It wouldn't play for me, but I just is the clip of the.
Oh no! Okay, yeah. The still is a big melty face.
Okay, I have no fucking idea what that is. It sure as hell is not part of Anaconda.
It looks like one of the Uruk-hai or whatever those orc things from Saruman are.
You're exactly. This must be like a deleted scene or something. It's weird, and it's like not an ad. I'm not dumb. This is not an ad for something else. Like it's clearly from Anaconda because the background is the jungle, and it's shot on 1997 Shidio. I know that this is from Anaconda, but it's not in Anaconda, so it's very strange. I don't know. I obviously this is only going to matter to people who look at this within the week of us doing it, but it's very bizarre. So like I said, 38% tomato meter. IMDb, it has 4.8 stars, so a tiny bit lower than normal for us, but still about even. IMDb tends to skew pretty much towards the center, unless it's really good or really terrible.
And like you said, there's kind of a cult following of this being like kind of a crappy horror movie, and those people they'll rate it highly because that's what they're getting into, that they want this kind of movie.
I would say for movies, this one is probably on the more of an end that more people have seen, that stuff that we've reviewed. I'd say this is definitely more popular than a lot of the things on this show that they've fucking gone through, like especially next week's movie or the fucking Car Road to Revenge or any of that shit. Like this one made a splash to make a terrible water pun.
Yeah, I remember when it came out and it'd be in the video stores while I was like trying to peek around the curtain of the adult section and feverishly jerking off in the hallways before the Asian lady would come with a broom and kick me out.
I genuinely almost believe that.
It's pretty close to true. I didn't jerk off in the building.
It's one
just
of those
behind the dumpster out back.
It's one of those movies I definitely remember existing, but like obviously never saw at the time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and it's classified as action adventure horror. It's really not very horror. It's vaguely gory for like one scene, but not even really that much. It's basically an adventure action movie that just happens to be like the Jaws formula, which we'll get to. Again, another fucking Jaws ripoff, sort of. Thanks for that, man.
I'm gonna watch all the Jaws ripoffs in the world.
It's basically every horror movie made after Jaws. So
I'm gonna see if like Jaws 4 is available on Netflix.
I think I've seen Jaws 4 or Jaws 3. I've seen Jaws 1, and then I saw like 3, 4, or 5. Only one of them. I can't remember which one. I'd know it if I saw it, and none of the rest of them. I don't remember why exactly. Okay, so Anaconda. Let's jump in. We start on an opening crawl briefly telling us about Amazonian tribes that worship gigantic anacondas. We also get some snake facts presented verbatim. Anacondas are among the most ferocious and enormous creatures on Earth, growing, in certain cases, as long as 40 feet. Unique among snakes, they are not satisfied after eating a victim. They regurgitate their prey in order to kill and eat again. And because I have admitted many times in this show that Isaac is a far smarter and cleverer man than me, I am always looking to capitalize on his success. So to once again step on his bit, I'd like to give you a science alert.
I was going to say, this does not sound accurate.
The longest anaconda on record...
Can I guess?
Yes.
Can I guess? 26 feet.
33 feet long is the longest
Okay.
they've ever found. Anything larger than that is apocryphal. So,
Right.
now 33 feet long... That's a big ass.
That's a big fucking
It's
snake.
a big fucking snake. But to say as long as 40 feet in certain cases, no, not happening.
Come on, guys.
Science alert to the second we will get to at the end of the movie, and you'll see why.
Oh, someone get regurgitated.
So we get some establishing shots of the jungle over generic-ish music as we see the names of our star-studded cast. Like I said before, and again, Jon Voight, still don't know who the fuck he is. So one of the cast, like I mentioned, is Danny Trejo, and we zoom in on him in a boat full of exotic animals in the middle of the Amazon River. Very young Danny Trejo here, still I think in his early 40s, but for him now, I mean, he's done most of his acting.
He looks
in his 60s
bizarrely
and
young,
70s.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger and sounds a lot younger. He's desperately calling for help on his radio while all the animals in his boat are freaking out. He starts nailing the door shut when the floorboards beneath him literally explode upwards. We get like a slow-mo shot of the nails getting like pushed out of the floor and like flying up past his eyes, which is kind of interesting. It's an interesting use of slow-mo for like him watching the nails sail up out of the boards. Fair enough. For as shitty as movie slow-mo gets, especially on the bowels of Netflix, I was like, that is a good use of slow-mo for, 10 seconds of watching nails come out of floorboards. So he gets thrown into the ceiling. He grabs a gun and heads to the top of his rather shitty boat where he climbs to the top of the mast. Wow. The dramatic music rises to a fever pitch as we circle a panicked Trejo on the mast. Mast is the word. Mask is not a part of a boat. No one in this movie wears a mask. It's all mast. I'm just an idiot. Trejo decides to take the easy way out and shoots himself in the head, robbing us of seeing what the monster is. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume, that it's an anaconda based on the name of the movie. But I get it. It's a horror movie. Whatever.
That's a bold assumption, Larry.
So Danny Trejo's fucking dead, which already to me is a bummer.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So he.
I like that as the horror opening of like the monster's so terrible that you just kill yourself because that's less frightening.
Yeah, I mean it works. I wish it wasn't Danny Trejo. That's all. I wanted him to be in the movie more because I kind of like him.
Ice Cube can fucking shoot himself.
We'll get to that. Got to our main cast in some hotel in Brazil. We see J-Lo is looking up some mysterious tribe on her old-timey computer. She's interrupted by Eric Stoltz of Mask fame. For those of you who don't know Mask, it's the, I think, mostly true story of Rocky Dennis, who... I don't remember the name of the condition. It was just something I really should have looked up before talking about Mask. This is why Mask is in my head, is because I keep thinking of Eric Stoltz.
Okay. There we go. You're not crazy.
It's a famous movie about, he's a young kid who has like a really bad face deformity that like his head is enormous and he has, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
stars Jim Carrey is the green mask. And all that, right?
Yeah, it's not quite it.
No. Oh, all right.
It's supposed to be heartwarming and tragic. I think Winona Ryder is his mom in it. I don't know. It's a good movie. I saw it a long time ago, but it's the only thing I ever know Eric Stoltz from. So, Stoltz and J-Lo banter. Apparently, they're searching for a lost, mysterious tribe deep in the jungle. Let's spare all of us the headache and not bother with the long-ass name, which is the Shirishama. I'm just telling you right now, I'm never going to remember that, so they're just going to be the Lost Tribe from now on.
The Shirishama.
Shirishama. These two have typical chatter, which is not a real tribe, by the way. It's made up.
Oh, yeah, of course
These two have typical...
Sounds like a dish at the local Chinese place.
Sure.
That's not racist.
I don't think it is.
I like Chinese food.
I believe what you've just quoted is an exact tweet from the current president. Although replace Chinese with Mexican.
4 more years. We're going to pull it out, Larry.
I think that one's, well, oh, God.
I donated $100 to the Trump Save the Election Fund.
So I believe $4 of that went to the election fund and the other 96 went to debts. But this is not a political podcast. This is the Bowels of Netflix with 2 white men. So these two have typical chatter, and we learn that they're like dating or used to date or want to date or are in love or want to fuck or are fucking. I don't know. The nature of their relationship is really poorly defined, shifts based on the scene, and frankly never really matters, so I don't know why I bothered even learning about it.
Fair enough.
The next morning, our crew was loading into the boat. We learned that J-Lo is directing the documentary on the Lost Tribe that they're here to make. Ice Cube, famous rapper and actor of such films as Barbershop, Are We There Yet? And most amusingly to me, I Got the Hookup, one of the very first movies I made Isaac review a very, very long time ago.
Oh, God.
Do you even remember that? You watched that for our first iteration of Bowels, the shitty one.
Very, very vaguely. There was a lot of guns.
And phones.
A lot of...
Guns and phones.
Oh, right, the phones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah. I got off track. Ice Cube is J-Lo's friend, and he's the cameraman. Stoltz is their expert on the tribe. We get some posh, constantly annoyed English guy who is the narrator of the documentary. We get, amusingly, sound guy Owen Wilson of Wow fame, if you're not aware. His generic girlfriend producer, who sadly really has no point in being here. And our shifty boat captain. We get some mild banter to establish their personalities, which is basically what I've just outlined for you, and then they set off. I appreciate that we get right into the jungle with this one, because we're 9 minutes in, and the adventure is just starting. There's no extraneous characters. There's no, we got to get the crew together. There's no wasted time.
Right. We're not watching them back in L.A., setting up the deal.
We're not watching Ice Cube. We're not watching Angelina Jolie go to Ice Cube and say, I got to film on the Amazon. And he's like, yo, man, I'll come to the Amazon. So it's just, we're 10 minutes into the movie, and they're on the fucking river.
It's good. Perfect. I like that. Nice.
Yes. It's
for this kind of movie, yes.
This is an adventure horror. That's perfect. You've done it right. There's not a bunch of people at the hotel. It's just everybody on the boat. Boom. We're out. Perfect. Very well done. Our crew is progressing on their journey with relative success when a rainstorm hits. The crew comes across a man screaming for help, his boat stranded in the roots. This man is Jon Voight, who I don't really know very much. I was looking into his career and filmography and saw that at the inauguration rally for Donald Trump in 2017, Voight said that, quote, God answered our prayers by giving us Donald Trump, unquote. So frankly, I don't care about Voight's career, and he can piss right off.
I didn't know that. That's a little disappointing, but I guess
also didn't know that
computes.
Either. But that said, I genuinely have no idea who Jon Voight is. I looked at his movies.
I think his big movie's Deliverance, I think, right?
He's in Deliverance.
I'm pretty sure.
That. I might have missed that one. I glanced through it, and I'm like, none of these stand out to me as anything I've seen. So I have seen Deliverance. Is he one of the hillbillies?
I have no idea.
Because Burt Reynolds is the quote-unquote main character of Deliverance.
I'll look it up in the background.
His mustache is his co-star. Okay. So anywho, Voight hops onto the main boat of our crew and explains that the treacherous Amazon River has fouled up his boat and he got stuck. He asks them to drop him off at the next village where he knows the people there. We see Voight and shifty Captain exchange a meaningful look as everyone reacts to this new development. The next day, we see Voight spearing a gigantic fish straight from the river before chopping it up for the crew to eat. they ask him his story, and he tells them that he was a Paraguayan priest before becoming essentially a poacher, which is an interesting career choice. Him being a priest does not come up much. Yeah. Later on, spoilers, he's going to kill somebody and like pray while he's doing it. But I kind of wish he'd done this whole movie in like a Catholic priest getup, because honestly, that would have bumped this up from a 4 to a 12.
Yeah, and then you have the snake like go just about to bite his neck, and it just gets the collar and rips it out. And then he's like, "Oh fuck, snake! Now it's on."
Yeah, no, really. I would have loved to see Jon Voight as a priest be the villain of this movie.
Jon Voight, incidentally, was one of Burt Reynolds' buddies.
Okay,
he probably gets all raped and killed in the beginning. Or
no, that's the fat guy. He's the only one who gets raped. I remember him. I don't think it's Jon Voight. Okay, that's interesting, I guess. Yeah. Really, none of them matter. I mean, Deliverance is not a good movie. It's not an interesting movie. It's just everybody remembers it because it was like, oh shit, a guy got raped by another guy.
It's a culturally significant movie.
It is, but it's not. It's boring. It's just boring.
Yeah.
I saw it when I was like 14, and I'm like, this is it? This is what people care about? I don't know. So Voight was a priest and became, basically, he just tells him he's just basically a poacher, although he kind of dances with like, oh, poaching is illegal. He also has a terrible accent, which I can't possibly replicate. And also, I don't think it's Paraguayan. I don't think it's anywhere. I think he just started talking in a voice and no one stopped him.
Is it sound like South American vaguely?
I guess. Maybe? I'm not sure, man. I don't know.
Right,
I don't know. They explained about the documentary before telling him that... Oh, no, I'm sorry. They explain the documentary, and he tells them that he knows who and where the lost tribe they are searching for is. We get producer girl dancing to some Ziggy Marley. As a lover of reggae music, which is one of the only things I inherited from my father, I love me some Ziggy Marley, so I can appreciate this. We also get a little romance scene here with Stoltz and J-Lo that I'm not going to bother with too long. I think they fuck, but again, it's really unclear as to what the hell is up with this pseudo-romance / not romance. I don't know why it's in here.
I wonder if it's like deleted scenes. It got cut kind of thing.
I mean, I don't even think so, because you'll see why shortly. We'll touch back on this in like about 3 scenes.
I like touching back on J-Lo. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'll say. A lot of people do. All of a sudden, we see our Anaconda.
Woo, boy.
So, on land, we see a Black Panther is, like, eating some random kill. It doesn't matter. And in the brush, we see a big-ass snake slithering up around, and we see the head kind of poke up. And it's dark, so we don't really get a great shot of it. This puppet is terrible. Now, I couldn't tell exactly what was puppet and what was CGI. There definitely was puppeting. I think most of the body is puppet, unless it's like doing really fast moving. Excuse me, but it's hideous.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen it at all. Not even when I was like checking it out.
We'll get into the snake more when it's daytime. We can see it in all its glory.
Does it? But eat for right panther?
Now, it wraps around the panther so tightly that it pops out one of the panther's eyeballs. God. Now, anacondas in real life they are not poisonous. They do kill by constricting. They're a constrictor, like the boa constrictor, and anacondas does the same thing. They are big enough. They do occasionally, the larger ones, do occasionally eat panthers. Not
shit.
As a main part of their diet. We'll get more into snake facts a bit later.
Okay.
But they get a lot right, but the stuff they get wrong is so dumb that it really trumps the stuff they get right.
And to be fair, I'm no
mysterious venom.
I don't know a whole lot about snakes.
You're a snakeologist. You're
Snake
a
oil salesman.
Oh my god,
do they harvest the oil?
They're maybe at the end you'll see.
Oh god, is there snake cum?
Do snakes come?
I don't know.
Listeners, write in. Do snakes come?
If there's any ichthyologists out there.
Yeah, so the snake wraps around the panther because it's a fucking horror movie, and it's the monster pseudo reveal. We get shaky cam and dark cam and close up cam, so we don't really get to see it. But it's a snake. Snakes all look the same, okay? Unless it's a fucking cobra, snakes all look the same.
Is he wearing a top hat?
No.
Does he have a monocle?
That's only a boll weevil.
Damn.
Only boll weevils wear top hats.
Yeah, little mice. I can't believe I'm so stupid. Damn it.
All right, so the next day, the crew squabbles over minor things. Ice Cube and Posh English Guy argue over Cube's loud rap, while Posh Spice, which is what I'm going to call him from now on because I'm desperate to use a Spice Girls reference, is hitting golf balls into a net. He brought a golf club, a fuckload of golf balls, and like a pitcher's net with which to hit the golf balls into.
Got to practice that swing, Larry. So
I find it very bizarre, considering they're in the middle of the fucking Amazon.
Your backswing needs to be nice and even.
He talks about his backswing. I chose to watch Anaconda twice, so I suppose it is I who is the fool.
Oh, yeah.
The boat gets to a fork in the river where there's a big snake totem. Voight launches into a story about some creation and death myth of the lost tribe, blah, blah. However, Stoltz cuts us off and reveals that that story is in fact about a different tribe. Stoltz and Voight passively aggressively squabble about which way to go, and since Stoltz is the leader and the expert of the expedition, he overrides Voight, who gets all pissy about it. That night, Owen Wowlson and his producer girlfriend head out into the woods to get some wild jungle night sounds.
Oh, no.
Of course, the beautiful sounds of a mass of dangerous and murderous animals make them both hornier than the horniest of toads, so they start to get a little fucky.
Ooh.
And as they begin the tender process of what a young Owen Wilson thinks sex might be, they're interrupted by the arrival of a wild boar, which chases them through the underbrush.
Played by Ben Stiller.
Borler? That's Ben Stein. God damn it. Ben Stiller's Owen Wilson's life partner.
It still works.
Right? Yeah, whatever.
Ben Stiller playing Ben Stein dressed up like a wild boar.
Fuck, I'd pay money for that. When we make our first million from podcasting, let's call them. Let's call their agents. Have our people call their people.
Ben Stein would do anything for money.
Probably.
We got to get him before he dies. I don't know. Maybe.
They're saved by Voight, who shoots the boar and leads the Randy pair back to the boat. Next day back on the river, Posh Spice is listening to some operatic music while he golfs because he's a posh Englishman. I'm sorry, I can't get over the fucking golf club thing. Something about that. Like, it's not that ridiculous, but something about it to me was like, he had to fucking, like, put this net into a bag to hit these golf balls into. Like, the golf club, the golf balls, whatever. Fucking Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong took it to the moon. But just the net really bothers me, and I don't know why.
Look, you need to be committed to your short game. That's all I'm saying.
The rope for, I guess, the anchor or whatever gets caught in the propeller. Stoltz and Voight argue about who is going to go free the rope from the propeller. Stoltz overrides Voight again and tells a story about his only fear in the Amazon being the Candriu aku, the little tiny fish that swims up the dick and eats your dick from the inside out.
Oh.
Or the vagina or the anus, but the stories seem to exclusively be about the dick. Which that was in, I believe, Fight Club. And it's one of those stories that, gets circulated on Imager every 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Science Alert the Third.
Oh, boy.
This is a common myth.
Oh.
And one of those horror stories about the Amazon that have existed since the white man first begins splashing his big white pasty balls in the tepid waters of Brazil. There is only one medically recorded case of a Candriu fish swimming up a man's urethra. And while this is indeed too horrifying to imagine, I'd say, considering the many awful things that could happen to me for any reason at literally any time, not something I'm going to worry too much about that a tiny little fish is going to swim up my dick hole.
Considering
because it's one of those stories where it's like everybody's afraid of it. Like some tribes would tie their urethras shut so fucking fish wouldn't swim up it. But everybody always heard a story from their friend's cousin who had had a fish swim up his neighbor's urethra.
I bet it's a metaphor for syphilis because the white man came and introduced syphilis to all the native people with all the rape they did, and then then they died from the inside out when their dicks rotted off. So there was at least that level of comeuppance.
It's true, yeah. It's the white man should die, probably.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll wait a few weeks so I can die peacefully of old age.
Yeah, you're pushing 40, right?
Pushing 40, yeah. Almost there.
Piece of fucking shit. Anywho, Stoltz is clearing the shit out of the propeller. Well, on deck, we see Voight leering ridiculously at J-Lo. This is, without a doubt, the absolutely most ridiculous thing in this entire movie, including the snake puppet. Isaac, we do this show on camera. I usually don't get a chance to look at you when we're recording because I'm usually looking at the recording and my review on my episodes anyway. But I've put you up on the screen because I'm going to make the face at you, and I need you to describe it because I don't know how, but I did practice how to do it. So Jon Voight starts making this face at J-Lo.
What? You're like squinting, and you're puckered up like you sucked on a lemon, and you're too old to be able to see titties without squinting, so you can get a clear view of the nipple. But at the same time, you're just sucking on lemons.
Yes.
God.
And he now, and like she like catches him doing this.
Oh.
But the thing is, they're standing like 3 feet apart.
Well, yeah, I mean, that far away, you gotta squint.
It's shot in a way of like where it's as if, you know, they're in a crowded square in Rome or whatever, and she catches him looking at her like way off in the distance. When you think of it's just like cutting back and forth their faces. But you think about it, they're literally standing next to each other, and it's just silent. He's silently leering at her.
That's ridiculous.
Like the dictionary definition of leering, like literally 2 feet from her face, and it's just so silly. So anyway, underwater, Stoltz starts freaking out for no reason and flailing about. Wilson and Cube go pull him out of the water, and they examine him. Apparently, in one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen before in this or any episode of Bowls on Netflix, they pull a gigantic wasp out of his mouth.
Cool.
It's like half the size of my fucking palm, and it's horrifying. Apparently, the wasp got stuck in his air hose or something and stung him in the throat. Another thing too horrifying to consider. Voight performs an emergency tracheotomy, or whatever the hell that's called. I don't think that's actually what it's called, but I think
neck
that's
slice, right? To get the end of the airway? Yeah, I think that is tracheotomy.
So Stoltz can start breathing again. They reason out that Stoltz will live, but they've got to get him to some kind of medical facility soon or he's going to die. J-Lo wants to double back, but Voight coaxes her into going the way he suggested yesterday, where he and Stoltz argued, saying that will take them much faster as they'll go with the current instead of against it. Voight says he knows that part of the river and will guide them safely. They travel another day on the boat before coming across what appears to be a man-made wooden wall/dam across the river. When questioned, Voight says that this is new, but he has a solution. They just blow the fucking thing sky high with a bunch of dynamite that he just...
What?
had. He just has dynamite in his bag.
What?
He's like, I got a solution for this. We just blow it sky high. Again, his accent is incomprehensible. That was my best estimation.
Jesus Christ.
Now, this wall looks like... Now, they're in the Amazon, so they're in the jungle. They're on the Amazon River in the middle of the jungle. Now, this wall looks like it's a wall that was made by, like, the evil tribe in, what's the Indiana Jones one? Temple of Doom. Like, it's like a wood, it's not like a wall, like a house wall. Like, it's a wall with a bunch of holes in it. So, it's meant to stop boats, I think. Also, like, I'm not, the idea, because, like, J-Lo is like, oh, we shouldn't blow this up. It's here for a reason. It might disrupt the ecosystem. First of all, if this is for snakes, which it seems like it might be, because the tribe they're hunting is snake-based. The snake was on land in the only scene we've seen the snake on. This wall is not the Wall of China, the Great Wall of China. It's just in the river. So, and it's like a regular-sized snake, you could fit your arm through the holes in this wall. So, the wall seems to only be to stop boats. But why? That never comes up, and I don't know. It's like
protection
just an excuse
for the white man.
I think they hired like a prop guy who was very good, but like he had in his contract, like I must blow something up. Like I will be the best prop service you've ever seen, but I must have an explosion. So I don't know.
I could see a movie exec like sipping a brandy, chomping on a cigar. It's like, yeah, this is good, but we need an explosion. You see? It
was probably in the trailer or something. I don't know. Because, like, it's a short scene, but it never comes up again. But it's like, this seems, I don't get, like, it's not like they're releasing a snake spirit. The villain's just a snake, a big snake, but it's just a snake. It's not a ghost snake or, a demon snake. It's just a big-ass snake.
Well, you haven't seen Anaconda 2. It might be a ghost snake. You don't know.
Anaconda 2, 3, 4, or 5.
There's a lot of room for ghost snakes. Just saying.
probably one of them is a snake. I think
gonna
there's one where
the first movie, like fucking Jigsaw or whatever.
I never saw any of those movies, thank God.
First one's good.
Yeah, like all these movies. So eventually, J-Lo relents. They agree to blow the wall up. Owen Wilson and Voight set up a bunch of dynamite in the wall while some unseen river creature almost gets, air quotes, Wilson before Voight pulls him up. They blow the wall, and the resulting explosion is strong enough that it rocks the boat and dislodges all but one of their barrels of fuel into the river. Apparently, the wall was also full of fucking tiny snakes, and they rained down on the boat in a deluge of horror.
What?
One of the smallest ones bites Posh Spice on the finger. It's not poisonous or anything. It just happens so that Voight... Because Voight is like, they're just babies. Send the babies back to mother.
How is that going to affect his grip on the club, though? Is he going to have to change like a V grip?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, shit.
Actually.
That's really going to mess with the short game.
Oh, God. The crew sails along before they come across the ruins of Danny Trejo's boat, all wrecked up in the brush. Voight, Shifty Captain, and Ice Cube go to check it out and search for fuel. As they get there, they're exploring what happened when we see Voight examining a newspaper clipping on the wall. The clipping shows... gasp! It's him, Danny Trejo, and Shifty Captain. They're all working together. This is not a reveal. We already know he's a poacher. It's been no secret that both he and Shifty Captain are both shifty. I don't know that this is a particularly exciting reveal. I mean... Voight is so obviously a villain, and it's like it's not really meant to be a secret. He's clearly manipulating them to do what he wants. So I don't know. Like this, it seemed like this was played off to be like, oh, he was working with Trejo and the captain's involved, which is dumb, as we're gonna see in a minute.
Well, to be fair, you do have an impeccable knack for picking out what's gonna happen in stories.
That's true.
So
but
I feel like the average person might have had a bit of a surprise on this one.
No. Jon Voight is so ridiculously villainous campy. It's not just me. I'm willing to admit you're right that I think I have a better sense of that than a lot of people. But in this case, it's like Voight's obviously the villain.
You're underselling yourself. You're the elite of the elite.
You're overselling Voight. So yeah, Voight pokes around and finds a big crate that they used to like keep snakes in. It's never explained well what this crate is. It's like his snake catching kit or something.
What?
They even like open it up and show us what's inside, but it doesn't strike me as anything. And once they take it back to the boat, it never comes up again. So I don't know.
I'm so confused.
It opens up the crate and he looks in it and he's like, yes. And he like Ice Cube comes by. He's like, help me take this back to the boat. And Ice Cube's like, what the fuck is this shit? And then Voight's like, it's treasures. But I mean, it's like it's just a crate of nothing. I don't know. Very confusing.
Dildos, Hitachi magic wands.
I think it might have a snake skin in it, but even that is like not.
What would you use that for?
What? Oh, we're gonna see in a minute. So there's no fuel on Trejo's wreck. So Voight, Cube, and Shifty Captain start back. Which, by the way, just want to point out there, I am in love with shortening Ice Cube to just Cube. I can't get enough of calling the man Cube.
It's pretty good.
I wish he was in every movie so I had an excuse to keep saying Cube. I love the word Cube. I love that I can call Ice Cube Cube for short.
What's your favorite shape?
Cube.
Yeah, there we go. Great. Perfect.
So the three of them start back. Shifty Captain is lagging behind, and suddenly the Anaconda attacks.
Oh, no.
So this is the first time we see the snake in daylight.
Looks good,
And holy Christ, is it even dumber than it looks before.
Oh.
It is like, when they do the close-ups on the head, I think the head is mostly CGI. Except when it's a puppet, and God is it stupid. It's like so... I don't know, something about the snake, just look at it and you just go, pfft. It's not, it is a nothing. It is nothing. It's
not, doesn't instill fear in you?
No, it's just like, oh, okay, that's the snake that's going to eat them. Like, what? All right, I guess this is not scary in any way. And I'm a coward.
Yes, that is true.
So the Anaconda wraps up Shifty Captain and squeezes him to death before snapping his neck. The snake takes him under the water, and he is our first death of the crew. Of course, the rest didn't hear him get murdered by the snake, who made a giant splashing noise, and, Shifty Captain was screaming, but, I mean, I guess in the Amazon, no one can hear you scream. So when they realize he didn't make it back, Ice Cube goes to look for him. Despite being Voight's homeboy, allegedly, Voight doesn't seem too concerned with the fate of Shifty Captain. I mean, danger aside, you'd think you'd want him there to be in on the scheme.
Yeah. Well,
it's
unless,
not. He
what's
says
his scheme,
himself.
Though? Is he going to get all the money?
What's that?
Maybe he won't have to share a cut of the money then.
Voight himself, he says it's not a one-person job. Later on, spoilers.
No.
Because it's a fucking 40-foot gigantic snake that eats people whole.
So he's a bounty hunter for the snake.
Yeah, I don't like him. Not even. It's weird that Shifty Captain is the first death because like the two of them never established they're in cahoots besides the article, and it's weird that they like. It was an odd choice to kill off like the secondary villain without even revealing him as the secondary villain or him doing anything to. You think he'd be part of the snake hunt, but no.
He didn't even leer at J-Lo.
No, well, I mean he may have. They just may not have shown it. Let's see here. So yeah, Voight unrolls one of his treasures from his box, an anaconda's shed skin, which is enormous. Cube says, quote, "Is snakes out there this big?" Which for some reason made me laugh out loud, like for a good minute. Voight speculates that an anaconda ate Shifty Captain. He also treats us to an explanation of how anacondas kill by constricting. There's not, I couldn't find any recorded cases of anacondas actually eating a human. There have been some recorded attacks when they've gotten really desperate, but I don't think there's ever been a recorded case of an anaconda eating a human. There are some large enough that they could, but it's never happened that anyone has written down. So, it's a monster movie, so you bend some of the rules, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, like, that it's possible that the anaconda's large enough could eat a person, right? You would say that, and I'd be like, well, that sounds like something out of that shitty Anaconda movie, but it turns out it's kind of true. So,
you know what? I'm feeling a lot better about not being so skinny. I don't think an anaconda could eat me, Larry. I'm just saying that.
An anaconda could definitely not eat me, and I don't know if I feel good or bad about that.
Take your small victories. You can just parade around the Amazon now.
It's a large, fat victory. So yeah, like most animals, anacondas go for easier, smaller prey. I mean, just because you could eat the largest thing you can doesn't mean you would or should. Go after a marmot, which is just going to sit there and be a marmot.
Right. That's why I like sliders.
J-Lo says that...
I'll see myself out.
God damn it. I don't know why that got me so hard. But it did. J-Lo says they'll wait the night to give Shifty Captain a chance to return because she's lost her fucking mind. Because if I'm in the Amazon, if I'm in the river, the only thing I want to do is get back on the boat. And if I'm not there in 30 seconds, I must be dead. And Voight kind of says the same sort of... Or no, I'm sorry. Posh Spice says the same sort of thing. Like, what, do you think you went for a fucking walk? Let's get out of here. Owen Wilson goes to talk to Voight alone about the snake. Voight lets slip that he's trying to capture the snake alive in order to sell it for what he assumes will be $1 million. Which obviously intrigues what basically amounts to party boy Owen Wilson. Posh Spice has taken over driving of the boat, for whatever reason, as they've given up on Shifty Captain returning. Voight shoots a monkey dead that he intends to use as snake bait. Okay. He shoots a monkey and then he's like, I can't catch an anaconda without bait. And he reveals to the others that regardless of what they think, he's going to try and catch the anaconda. He also reveals that Owen Wilson has had a heel turn and is now on his side to try and get a cut of the money. Wilson gives a speech about how they can salvage the trip by making a bunch of money from capturing the snake. Ice Cube goes to attack the heels, but Voight pulls a gun on them and reveals that he's the captain now, with Owen Wilson as his number one guy. That's two references in one sentence. God, I'm good. That night, they're sailing along while Ice Cube silently tries to plan an attack on Voight with J-Lo using his tiny little switchblade he kept referring to. And it's like Cube's pathetic little fucking switchblade is... No, it's a knife. It stabs me with a knife, it's gonna be bad. But it's so non-threatening looking that it's like...
Yeah.
It's like... It's not my first folding knife that like a kid gets, but it's basically my first folding knife that a kid gets.
Oh, Cube, come on, you're better than that.
I know, yeah.
I like calling Cube too. You're onto something there.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
So Cube is going to like he's gonna go stab them and wrest control of the boat back, but the snake trap works, and Voight gets the snake, the gigantic anaconda, not any other fucking animal. He's dragging a monkey through the Amazon River, which every story I've ever heard about it is just a hellhole of things that want to kill you. It's the Australia of rivers. And somehow this monkey only attracts the anaconda. The big one. The biggin.
Right, yeah.
The snake... So Cube uses this opportunity to attack Voight, but the snake, good guy snake, smacks the knife out of Cube's hand, and Cube loses it. So thank God, because that thing was ridiculous. The snake wrestles away from Voight and spits up the dead monkey onto Posh Spice. Voight shoots it with a tranquilizer crossbow in the mouth, which is another thing he has in his fucking hammer space bag with the dynamite.
Oh my God.
But the dart, he shoots it in the mouth, like where the cum goes. God, why am I like this? I'm not like this normally. It's just when I'm recording, I get stupid. Like I'm not already stupid.
I'm gonna get you a business card. Larry Beard, I come in snakes.
I have business cards already, which I think you probably have one still.
Probably. Yeah.
They're not for public consumption. So yeah, this tranquilizer, he shoots this snake with a tranquilizer in basically the back of its tongue, and it does nothing to the snake at all. Totally ignores it. And the snake manages to wrap around Owen Wilson. J-Lo tries to shoot the snake to save Wilson, but Voight wrestles the gun out of her hands as the snake is no good to him dead. Right. So Wilson gets all his bones broked as the snake drags him beneath the waters, where nobody can hear you.
Damn. Fuck you, Larry. You son of a bitch.
This, unfortunately for me, leads to a lot of ugly crying from generic producer girlfriend. Like, if you don't know what ugly crying is, just look it up and you will.
Snot and everything. Ugh.
Voight starts abusing the crew, further asserting his control over the ship as he is the only one armed. The snake swims by underwater with a hilarious Owen Wilson-shaped food baby bulge in its belly.
Can you see like his crooked nose like coming out of the snake skin?
No, it's just a generic face, but you can see the face, and the face is moving.
I really like to think Owen Wilson had to crawl inside that puppet because this was his first movie.
Oh man! So science alert the fourth.
Oh boy!
Snakes, when they eat anacondas, when they eat gigantic meals, an Owen Wilson-sized meal,
right,
will last a snake for literal weeks.
And they're not going to be swimming around.
No, they can move. They can still move, and they can still swim with a food baby.
Really?
Yeah, not well, which we'll get to later. They can move around, and they often just go and they fucking do what humans do, and they just sleep it off. They go sleep until their food digests, like all creatures. So,
after Thanksgiving, all I want to do is kill people.
It's true. Honestly, some of my family Thanksgivings, I have had to restrain myself from starting a fist. So J-Lo tries to seduce Voight into submission, which frankly would work on me, but he doesn't fall for the obvious trick as Cube tries to sneak up on him. Voight incapacitates Cube and tosses J-Lo aside, but because of course everything comes around, what happens, Isaac? What does Posh Spice hit him with?
Oh, the golf club.
The trusty golf club.
Oh boy. What's his grip? V-grip? He's in a V-grip now, right?
He hits Voight over the head and then says, "Asshole in one."
Oh. Is it a wood or is it a chip or putter?
It's a chip.
Chip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Like a 9-iron?
I think it's a 7-iron.
Fair enough.
I
that
think
makes
if
sense.
I sit here silently, you'll start to talk yourself out of the limited golf knowledge you have.
I'm running low. I called it a chip instead of an iron at first.
Oh man. So Posh Spice wants to throw Voight in the fucking river, which would be the smartest thing they could do. But
Seriously.
J-Lo decides that life is too precious or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Now, folks, I want to stop here. Now, we don't have any sponsors in this show, but I have been in contact with the gentleman who would like to present a small commercial, and that is for the Larry Beard School of Movie Villainy.
Ooh.
And at this school, your prestigious instructor will be advising you that always, in any situation you are in which death is on the line, always kill your adversaries before they betray you.
Yep.
A fate which one day awaits Isaac Early.
What?
So please apply now to the Larry Beard School of Movie Villainy. That's LarryBeardEatsNuts.com. That's with 3 T's.
Is that a different Larry Beard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I don't have anything to worry about?
Total asshole. Yeah, that guy.
Oh,
Total
yeah.
asshole.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, I'm good.
Seriously, always kill your villains. Always.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Always kill your villains.
Larry, there should be a packaging... God, I can't talk. I'm going to blow you up with a bomb.
That'll be great. Like, all of a sudden in the middle of this, and there was just an explosion and then silence on my end, and you laugh for 20 minutes, and that was the last episode.
Oh, shit.
Or the next episode, there's just another guy, and you just are giggling the whole time as you're waiting to blow him up in 50 episodes or whatever. That'd be really funny. You just keep getting a fucking collection of gullible rubes that you keep blowing up after they think they're safe.
It's funny because this is your first episode on the show.
I know, right? This is a weird script you had me write. You had me read. Our heroes are back in control of the boat now. J-Lo finds the article that proves that Voight was in cahoots with Shifty Captain and Trejo. He also admits that the wasp in the breathing tube was him too. So he's fucking plucked a wasp out of the air, I guess, and crammed it in the tube.
Oh, God, this is so stupid.
Yeah, tell me about it. Everything he's done has been to orchestrate them to getting to this point for snake hunting. J-Lo smacks him around while Posh Spice gives Ice Cube a boat driving lesson. At one point, they reminisce about the things they are missing, one of which Cube mentions is his cellular phone. Man, ye olde times sure were adorable, weren't they?
Cellular phone. Do we ever see it? I'm curious what it would look like.
No, it's back in L.A.
Oh, right, okay.
So sailing along, blah, blah, blah. They manage to get the boat stuck on the Amazonian version of a sandbar. Ice Cube makes a plan to use ropes to winch themselves out by wrapping around trees and making a makeshift winch, essentially. We get an air quotes tense scene while they're out putting the ropes in, and we'll keep an eye out for the snake. Producer girlfriend of Owen Food Baby Wilson confronts Voight about to stab him with a knife for revenge. He manages to overpower her and strangles her to death with a chokehold between his legs while he recites basically a terrifying version of the Lord's Prayer.
Good
so that
God,
happens.
Man.
And he frees himself with the ropes. In the water, the Anaconda has caught up with him, apparently, as it chases Cube and J-Lo out of the water. Posh distracts it and starts climbing a cliff to escape. J-Lo goes to shoot the snake, but once again, Voight attacks and knocks out both her and Cube, while Posh Spice gets unfortunately caught and eaten by the snake.
Oh.
Who causes... Yeah, he was the best part of the movie. Who causes a tree to fall on the boat, throwing J-Lo, Cube, and Voight overboard. This commotion wakes up Stoltz, who, as you may remember, is recovering from a throat bee sting. J-Lo and the snake play tug-of-war over Ice Cube as J-Lo shoots the snake 3 times in the fucking brain, and it slowly slides back into the water, finally dead. However, it turns out that Voight is alive. He attacks J-Lo and is about to shoot Cube, but Stoltz stabs him in the back with the tranquilizer dart from earlier, which I guess they just have again.
There are extra darts in hammer space. Sure.
Voight falls into the water and sinks to his death alongside his snake. Stoltz passes out again, and J-Lo and Cube continue on down the river, coming across a semi-abandoned factory or hunting lodge or something. Not entirely clear what it's supposed to be. but it's clearly a white man's creation. Our heroes go inside looking for fuel, and outside we hear the telltale hissing of the Anaconda.
Oh, no!
Apparently 3 gunshot wounds to the head only served to vaguely piss him off.
Oh, my God.
And he's back for revenge. She shoots him in his snake face. Like, look at a picture of a snake and imagine you shoot it 3 times in its snake face and it lives and is basically fine.
Snake bones are made out of adamantium. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I'm an ichthyologist. I should know. It's the science of Wolverine.
The X-Man, not the animals. You don't know fuck all about the animal Wolverines.
Yeah. Did you know Wolverines are actually beetles?
Yeah, I heard they're like little mice, just like fucking weevils. And they wear fezzes instead of top hats.
Oh, man. I really want to see a Wolverine and a fez now.
Okay, so while our heroes are exploring, they're attacked by Jon Voight, who has also apparently survived.
Fuck. Come on.
He knocks them out and covers them in monkey blood, tying them together in order to draw out the snake. The snake that he thought was dead.
The sentences you're saying, Larry. I can't.
Yeah.
Where does he get monkey blood?
He drains a monkey's blood. He knocks them out, and we get like a cut, like hours have passed, and they wake up from being unconscious as he's hucking monkey blood onto them.
How do we know it's monkey blood?
We see like he's tapping the monkey's arm. Basically, like he's like we cut
like maple syrup.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's got like a basically a watering can that like a dead monkey is dripping blood into.
Oh my God!
And so the monkey blood is in slow motion too when he throws it on them. There's 2 points of slow motion in the movie. The scene at the beginning with the nails, which I thought was okay, and then weirdly slow motion monkey blood, which I don't understand, but is a metal name for a fucking song from a metal band.
The only way I'm going to be able to get off anymore. Weirdly slow motion monkey blood.
He also shows them a pile of white ash, which he claims are human bones. The snake shits out or pukes back up or something. Science alert to the 5th. Bones don't come out of a snake as powdered fucking ash. They come out in like big regurgitated pellets, all the shit they can't digest. It doesn't turn to literal ash that the snake farts out. How would it become a pile of dry ash if it's coming out of a living being?
The snake's
the
fourth stomach.
insides of living creatures is wet.
They have a combustion engine in the 4th stomach.
You don't fart dust.
Not yet.
Unless you're like a Frankenstein or from the Munsters. I don't know, with a pile of ash bones really bothered me. All right, so the snake is drawn in from the monkey blood, and we get our first real steady cam, not fight scene, lot of time spent looking at the snake. And shockingly, it looks even worse.
Oh, man.
It's almost like the budget is going away as the movie's going on. Just something about it, like, the only time the snake looks good, and this is not the snake, it's when it, like, gets a victim and it's constricting them, it, like, wraps around them in a way where they, like, get flipped around a couple of times, and it's, like, kind of well done. Everything else is such garbage that it's like it's almost laughable how dumb it looks. And like this was not a low. You know what? I actually forgot to look at the budget. This was not a low budget movie.
Yeah, this was definitely a mid-tier movie. I mean, 97's a tough time for CGI because unless you're on the cutting end, it's gonna look rough.
Right. The budget was estimated to be $45 million.
Yeah, well, shit, you could have paid for some goddamn good CGI then.
Now, the U.S. made $65 million, and worldwide it made $136 million. So,
damn,
definitely made some money.
Successful movie.
Yeah, and it's just now. Yeah, 97 was a rough time for CGI, definitely. But I don't know. I really couldn't. Like, you know, I cut slack where I thought it was due. In other movies before, like I cut The Car a lot of slack for being from the 70s, and I am willing to cut this slack, but. It's so bad. Like, and maybe it's not them. Maybe it's just the era. But even the snake puppetry, like when they have the coils around the people, it just looks so dumb and fake. And it's not like one of those terrible movies where it's supposed to look dumb and fake. Like, it's supposed to be real-ish. So,
yeah. And there's lots of movies that are limited by technology but know how to work within those bounds. Terminator 2 came out in 92 or 91, I think. CGI on that is great.
Yeah, it looks great. It still holds up pretty well.
Very different CGI. And even if you go back to special effects, there's not CG in it, but Star Wars, the original A New Hope, like, obviously they're restricted by the technology, but they do it in a way that looks good.
Yeah, this was a bad job of making the snake look. And okay, I think I actually missed a line or something. Did I mention it's the screaming?
The snake screams?
The snake pretty much nonstop screams.
What?
Okay, I must have missed this line then. Yeah. This snake never ever stops screeching at the top of its snake lungs.
What is happening?
That just makes it okay. I really should have brought that up before. That just makes it all the more comical of like, okay, the snake is like going, it's a snake.
As an ichthyologist, snakes croon, kind of like Dean Martin. They don't scream.
Yeah, snakes still playing clubs all over Las Vegas to this day.
Damn straight.
All right. So again, during the fight, Voight manages to get the snake in a net, but he tries the tranquilizer dart again, which once again is completely ineffective. I'm dying from screaming.
Lesson learned, Jon Voight.
Yeah, apparently not. So the snake wraps him up and swallows him whole.
Yeah, okay. And like his whole plan is to tranquilize it. He learned very early on the tranquilizer dart doesn't work.
Yeah, also he's supposed to be like this hardened badass snake hunter. And like he's consistently bested by the snake. And so we get a lot, we don't see Owen Wilson get swallowed or Posh Spice get swallowed. Like we even get like an inside the snake cam as it's lowering over Jon Voight's head.
Oh.
And it just looks comedically stupid.
I want to see this now.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So yeah, and when he's squeezing him, it almost pops out one of his eyeballs like the Black Panther.
Yeah, of course.
Which, by the way, they do not squeeze that hard. Ridiculous. So our climactic snake fight. J-Lo and Cube run all the way around through the factory, running from and trying to fight the snake as best they can. Eventually, the snake almost gets J-Lo and spits out a partially digested Jon Voight at her.
Ugh.
Who winks.
What? No! What? Stop!
To go way back to the beginning, let's get back to Science Alert the Second. So like I mentioned before, snakes will eat a big-ass meal, and then they have like limited mobility, and they go fucking lay down and sleep off a meal for a couple of days. Like a snake's meal, if it's big enough, if it's Owen Wilson-sized, will last weeks. Right. This snake has eaten like 3 fucking people. And now the movie, the opening crawl said something about how, snake's not satisfied with killing its prey. It's got to spit it out and fucking kill it again. It's so metal. But that's not true. The science alert here is that a snake will regurgitate its prey, living or dead, when it has to get moving in a fucking hurry. Because if you've got a 170-pound Owen Wilson in your fucking gut, you can't root, scoot, and skedaddle your way away from any fucking tigers. So the snakes do not just spit up to scare attractive Jennifer Lopez's. The snake is not going to have a Jon Voight in him and be smacking around, knocking Ice Cube hither and thither. It's just not going to happen. It's so dumb.
Oh, man.
All right, so at the end of this mess, J-Lo climbs up a smokestack while Ice Cube pins its tail in the ground with a pickaxe, the snake's tail. He gathers fuel canisters and a makeshift fuse as J-Lo just barely escapes from the top before she gets burned up. The makeshift bomb explodes as J-Lo is hanging off the side of the smokestack by a rope for dear life. The snake, which at this point is fully in the shaft, is exploded fully and falls, still fucking screaming, into the water in a horrible flaming death rattle as it finally dies for real this time.
I swear to God, if it's not dead. If it's not.
J-Lo and Cube go to take the rest of the fuel from the ruins, but no, the snake is still fucking alive.
Gotta be kidding.
The snake smashes up through the dock.
Oh my God.
So the snake has been literally in the middle of an explosion. It's been shot in the head 3 times and ineffectually tranquilized twice. But I mean, I don't know if that counts. And the snake still seems to be at full power, is attacking J-Lo. So Cube grabs a nearby discarded axe, ? And smashes it a bunch in the head, where it falls in the water. Definitely for real. Absolutely, finally, totally dead for real. Definitely is dead, probably.
I swear to God. You can't keep doing this movie.
So Eric Stoltz wakes up, and as the crew prepares to leave this hellhole...
No.
They're approached by the lost tribe they've been searching for, and that's the end of the movie.
Fuck you, asshole. God damn it.
The snake has 3 deaths.
Jesus.
She shoots the snake 3 times in the head, and it's fine. In its face. It's snake face. Yeah, Stoltz wakes up. The crew prepares to leave the hellhole. They are approached by the lost tribe they've been searching for. The entire journey wasn't a complete disaster despite all the deaths. They'll live happily forever together, and a 3-person love sandwich of a pasty white guy from Mask, a half-decent rapper who became a shitty movie star, and Jennifer Lopez. Frankly, Isaac, that's a sandwich I'd like to be the condiment of.
You'd like to be a condom in that sandwich?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something? I didn't really have I don't know. Sandwiches have a lot of ingredients, and I went with condiment. J-Lo's the meat. I just want to be there. I just want to be in the room. Okay? Give me a producer credit on that fucking sandwich.
You'll be slathered all over Jennifer Lopez's meat.
So what do you say about Anaconda? Well, to be honest, I think the tomato meter is pretty spot on. Watching this, I get exactly why it's a cult hit. It's classic horror setup. You get a group of misfits in a strange land that isn't their own, having to do battle with some primordial supernatural force with a traitor in their midst. That's just classic setup for any horror movie, especially in this time. Like I said early on, I think it's a great idea not to bog it down with any extraneous characters. Everybody pretty much had their place in this movie. Producer girlfriend is kind of tacked on, but she contributed a few scenes, a little tiny bit. Same with Stoltz. I mean, he acts more as like the foil to Voight and to be sort of the catalyst for them going to the snake way, but, whatever. The acting is fine. J-Lo is pretty good, and Cube works in this role. It helps that these characters are meant to be archetypes. Really, the specifics don't matter all that much, and the fact that they're not bad actors definitely helps. Like, you could do this with the cast of, I don't know, fucking, what's the movie with the bow tie I watched, the horror movie?
The bow tie?
Mr. Belvedere? No.
Oh, Bedeviled.
Bedeviled, yeah. The fucking Bedeviled kids would ruin this thing. But, like, this cast was good, so it worked. Like, they're all pretty good. Posh Spice was a delight. Like, he was, because he's a campy, over-the-top British highfalutin idiot. And it's, it's fun. Right. It's not, I maybe smiled. I didn't chuckle. I didn't laugh. But, like, it's not really meant to be. But he's, he was delightful to have on the boat. Voight is suitably wicked, despite his accent being ridiculous and completely unplaceable. To me, the biggest problem was the fucking snake. I mean, I've gone on and on now how much it sucked and how it looked. But we've talked about this a lot, especially recently. When you do Jaws ripoffs, which seems to be what this podcast is turning into.
Yes. The
monster is important. Jaws works because Jaws is just a shark. He's bigger and meaner than other sharks, but he doesn't have frickin' laser beams. He's just a shark. The Car, which Isaac and I have both had a different The Car movie, doesn't work because cars are inherently not frightening. They almost get it right in the 70s, and they totally bungle it in the 2010s, aughts, 20s, whatever. Again, the Anaconda is a suitable enough threat because it's natural. Like I said, it's not a ghost snake. It's not, they don't give a story about, oh, the anaconda's revenge on the white man's sins. Like, it's just a big, hateful snake. That part is fine. It's just, it's so ludicrous. And the fact that it's stalking them is ludicrous. And, like, clearly it's out for revenge. And that's like, oh, come on, you're killing me.
I think this is all an argument for Ghost Snake. I'm on Team Ghost Snake.
I guarantee you one of these movies has one of the snakes is the fucking ghost. So, and the problem is, too, like, the back and forth, they should have done more with the snake and less with Voight, because there's a lot of scenes where they almost shoot the snake and then Voight tackles J-Lo. Like, that happens, like, 3 times. And Voight, like I said, he's a serviceable villain, but it should have been more, like, he should have been less overtly evil and the snake been more of, like, a threat to them constantly. I don't know. I feel like that balance is close, but not quite there.
Could have used a tweak.
Yeah. So, all in all, I would give this a 4 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
I really thought about giving it a 3, but when I watched it the second time through, I realized that watching it didn't feel like a chore. And I love doing this show, and I love recording this show, but watching the movies is a chore.
It often can be.
And the reviews can be the worst. We were going to record this 2 days ago, and I'm just so terrible.
Yeah.
This movie, watching it didn't feel at all like a chore. Is it good? God, no. Is it enjoyable? Not really. There's nothing that makes me crack a smile or is so fucking stupid that it rolls over to being entertaining, which can happen sometimes. Anaconda's watchable. You put it on, you sit it out, and then it's over, and you say, eh. And to me, that's a 4.
Yeah. I feel like my measurement, or like my threshold for whether or not a movie's really bad, is if it was on at someone else's house that I was visiting, would I be fine just to sit there and watch it?
I think you would.
Would I actively want to get up and go to a different room?
I think you would want to watch this because I think you would leave it on. Like, if there was anything better to do, you would do it, but I don't think it would prompt you to be like, I gotta find something else. I gotta put on C-SPAN. It's better than C-SPAN.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that, it's like really, to me, like I realized, because I thought after I watched the first one, like, well, that was a 3, because I didn't despise it. It was dumb. It had dumb parts, but, like, you know, Cube is fine. J-Lo's fine. They're the 2 main. Voight is a decent enough villain that, yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Posh Spice was great. And I was like, yeah, and you know what? That's okay. I can deal with this. But then when I watched it again, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I didn't hate every second of my life like I did with, you know, Sunrise in Heaven or fucking anything else. Almost anything else. So, yeah.
High praise from Larry.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, while I was looking, because I went down a rabbit hole of looking at snake facts, because I was looking at this, I'm like, all right, well, something's got to be wrong with some of these. Some of this shit can't be right, because I don't know anything about snakes. I'm not an ichthyologist like Isaac.
Yeah, damn straight.
And in my travels,
Did you go to the Amazon?
I found the novelization of Anaconda.
Oh, after the movie?
I don't know, actually. I didn't look it up. I think it was like the year after or something. But I paged through, and I didn't have the whole thing. I just had a little bit.
Yeah.
And I paged through it, and I want to read you a little section I found of Anaconda.
Oh, God.
Boy toy named Troy used to live in Detroit. Big dope dealer money, he was getting some coins. Was in shootouts with the law, but he lived in a palace. Bought me Alexander McQueen, he was keeping me stylish. Now that's real, real, real. Gun in my purse, bitch, I came dressed to kill. Kill?
What?
Who want to go first? I had them pushing daffodils. I'm high as hell, I only took half a pill. I'm on some dumb shit, by the way, what he say? He can tell I ain't missing no meals. Come through and fuck him in my automobile. Let him eat it with his grills. He keep telling me to chill. He keep telling me it's real, that he love my sex appeal. He say, don't like him bony, he just wants something he can grab. So I pulled up in the Jag, and I hit him with the jab, like dun-da-da-dun, dun-da-dun-dun. My anaconda don't. My anaconda don't. My anaconda don't want none. Unless you got buns on. From the official novelization of Anaconda. Believe it or not.
You had me for way too long. I hate you. I hate you so much.
I was so proud of that.
I hate you so much. You had me for like 3/4 of the way. son of a bitch.
Before we started recording, you sang a line of the song, and I, didn't react to it because I really didn't want you to be thinking about it.
God damn you and your fucking face.
It's crazy that this Anaconda novelization was written by Nicki Minaj. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. God, I love that song. Have you seen the Gilbert Gottfried reading it version?
No.
By all means, please. That's what you must do tonight.
I wish I had known that, because now I would have read it I would have read it with more reverence. I wanted to read it with a sort of a boy toy named Troy. He used to live in Detroit. Big dope dealing money. He was getting some coins. I wanted to do like a Shatner, like a dignified Shatner, but I've been screaming too much and my voice can't do it.
I really thought it was like one of the characters was a rapper, and then they were like introducing. Yeah, I hate you. I hate you so much. Fucking asshole. God damn.
You got bowels, you piece of shit.
Man, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. Fuck.
Oh God.
Well, you like that movie too much for my comfort.
I didn't like it, but it just wasn't, watching it wasn't painful. Which, for the balance of Netflix, that is, the best I can hope for.
There was enough to talk about, though, so there was at least that.
Yeah.
There was meat on the bone.
Yeah, unlike Delta Farce, which I fucking had to jerk. It was like jerking the limpest dick in the world.
Oh, boy. But I had that refractory period. All right, so, yeah, any last thoughts, or are we ready to wrap up?
No, that's it, man. We're Anaconda out.
We are the Anacondas of Netflix. I don't know, man. I'm done. We're the Bowels of Netflix. You can find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. Keep an eye out on TikTok. That might be a thing. We might put googly eyes on our dicks and wave them around for the children. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Oh, remind me to tell you about Jaws 4, speaking of googly eyes on dicks, by the way.
Okay.
Not the real Jaws 4, a different Jaws 4.
The porno you're making?
No, the porno one of the Rick and Morty writers made. Not porno, just it stars his dick as Jaws. This is real.
Oh, boy, I'm delighted.
It's quite amazing.
Send us an email, bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Stay tuned. We will be back in your feed next Sunday. Make sure to rate and subscribe and tickle us and tell your grandma about us and how ticklish we are. And tell her to listen to the show, or you're going to hide her medicine. And that's how we get to the top, Larry. Joe Rogan, here we come. Thank you so much for listening. We love you.
I'll smell you later from inside of an anaconda, and I don't mean my dick.
Because it's little.
It's real small.